Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is me. I'm Elliot. I'm going to introduce our co hosts one by one because today is the last episode of the night of the year, I should say. So, before I make my funny jokes, joining me first on the show is the man himself, the guy that already has a kid planning to go to France, and his team's about to have a plethora of jerseys. Mr. Chip, how are you doing, sir?
Great. My in-laws are here, so things are going real well, and my team is totally not a dumpster fire right now. So yeah, things are great.
That's a positive. That's a positive. Also joining us on the show is the guy that in 2 weeks plans on being at the Ford Madison Club, drowning himself in beer. We're trying to figure out what is the USMNT doing against Iran to qualify. Mr. Kyle Carr, how are you doing, buddy?
Overall, I'm pretty good. I will say it's good to see my team be able to see another team's tweet, make a joke about it so much that it triggers the other team into responding. So pretty nice on that end. But yeah, it's weird that this is but shit. Also, this guy called the final correctly, so I get a bonus point for that.
And
am I wrong though?
No, you're not. And last but not least, well, not last because Brandon's not here, but Brandon's going to be coming back because he has a baby right now to take care of. Is the person who just got out of class because she decided to put her job in a hellscape and work pretty much 12-hour shifts. Miss Ebbs, how are you doing, man?
Tired.
Well, we can tell by the internet.
I'm ready for the show.
It is delayed by 4 seconds. It is all over the place. But y'all, we have a fun show planned ahead. We have our end of the season awards. We also have a preview of the final because now South Georgia Tormenta are the overlords of USL League One. They have won the title. They won it 2-1 against Chattanooga. Some might say they didn't win it fairly. I don't know. That's not my place to say or not to say. All I know is that Keziah Sterling, man, did he have the best playoff run in the 4 years of USL League One? We'll talk about it. But first of all, let's backtrack. Let's talk about this game as a whole. South Georgia, Chattanooga. Chip, I want to come to you first. What were your thoughts on how this game kind of opened up and kind of started
out? That PK was bullshit. that should not have been the PK. But hey, you know what? When you're South Georgia Tormenta and it's a final, you're going to take that PK every single time and not complain about it. And that's just how the game's played. I think Tormenta definitely was the team that looked better up until that goal. They were challenging a lot. But then after that goal, you're kind of in Chattanooga time. And I was waiting for that Chattanooga goal. Tormenta seemed to kind of lay off the gas a little bit. Chattanooga was pressing. They always get some dumb ass lucky goal, and they did. And that's when I was about ready to gloat in our group chat about being right about it going to extra time. And then the absolute wonder strike in the 81st minute to end the game.
Oh yeah.
82nd minute, excuse me. But yeah, that was crazy. I mean, it looked like great scenes despite some of the stuff at ticket prices. They had a sellout crowd for the size of the facility. So I think it was north of 2,000 people there in Statesboro. You had the giant ass dirt mountain behind the goal. Someone had a fun fact on you have to defend the dirt hill because all the goals get scored in front of the dirt hill. And that was correct. And then Bolt just had some awesome tweets after the game. You had him in the confetti. You had all the players mimicking the tea celebration from the women's team when they won the USLW title. It was just great. And I mean, I think we can all say this, but I think Tormenta is everyone's second favorite team in the league. They do things the right way with the academy and everything else. They do great social media. They do great fan relations. And I think if you are a team in League One and you see that the two teams that had the most success this year ultimately are teams that have an academy system and a two system and everything else, I think it makes you start to think of if your team doesn't have an academy and a 2-team, why not? Because those two, especially Tormenta, with working with a lot less than the Madisons and the Omahas and the Greenvilles of the world, were able to put together a championship team. And, that definitely seems to be a great way to source talent and pair that with some awesome off-season signings from them, like with Keziah Sterling, Kingsford, Tobias Otieno, and all of that. And it's like, man, if you don't have an academy, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's true. Hey, Brandon, nice to you to join us. You get the kid down? Is he sleeping?
For now. See how long that lasts.
Probably as much as asleep as Chattanooga's defense on that last goal, which was abysmal defending. Abysmal. Talking about the final real quick. Keziah Sterling. This man proved why he is probably the second best striker in USL League One. Man was fantastic, especially on that second goal, because he did like a little spin move, which all of Chattanooga's defenders got sucked into. And I don't know who was defending on the left side, but whoever it was surely missed the guy that was running wide open for Tormenta to score that goal.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to cover, and they all focused on.
I get it, because if Keziah Sterling has the ball, I too would probably put a lot of focus and energy on him. I get that aspect of it. But there is no one on that side of the box. There's no one over there. It's you could have just and I mean, he just walked in. It was like he could have taken an extra touch or two if he wanted. He didn't have to do it first time. He could have easily just
I think the first time makes it even sweeter.
He could have trapped the ball, maybe done a run up, like a penalty run up, and shot it. That's how much time he had and how much space he had.
Yeah, no, he had a lot of space. Well, we all agree that the PK was crap, but we would be remiss if we don't talk about Chattanooga's goal in the set piece that happened. Is this set piece theater? Was this a good set piece or just lucky?
I think it was a good set piece.
You know, you didn't call it set piece orgy, so I'm okay with it.
Darn it. There was a joke. It was there. You're right.
Yep.
Could have said it.
You could have done it.
Yeah. I will say this, though. I felt like Chattanooga, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it felt like Chattanooga was really quick to press the panic button in this game, because as soon as they got into the second half, I think around the 50th or 59th minute mark, Mincingen comes in, then they bring on Galindrez. It's like Chattanooga already knew, all right, we're going to bring in our big guns early, and didn't have anything late. They kind of was like, all right, we're going to go all into attack. And it kind of took us some of the subtle defensive pieces that they needed. Did it feel that way to y'all?
I feel like it was kind of initially Tormenta was all over Chattanooga, and Chattanooga could not cope with it. And then Chattanooga kind of got settled in for the rest of the first half, kind of was able to build into it. And the penalty kind of just deflated everything for them. So that was the unfortunate part. And then they got the goal right at halftime. I was like, oh, okay, maybe they will come out firing. And there was a stretch. They were on, they probably had 2 or 3 good chances, but then Chattanooga decided we're just going to yeet it from outside the box when we could have probably done one extra pass. And I think that is when that panic started setting in. It definitely happened before the Tormenta goal. And even after Tormenta scored and they kind of went all out attack, you never got that feeling that they're going to put together passes to create a chance. If they're going to equalize, it's going to be another ridiculous shot that they get a goal on. But it felt like after I think it was early. I think it was the 55th minute where it was I don't think they could have coped with it. But I think a lot of it was also right. I mean, Kaylor said it best. Tormenta came out the game hot, and Chattanooga had to multiple times get it together, respawn, and they did that pretty well in the first half, but they didn't do well in the second half.
Yeah,
I feel like it was
really
representative of their whole season, right? Those moments of magic. They had the moment of magic with the set piece, and then for the rest of the game, it was they just did not have enough. I wouldn't even say firepower, but they just didn't have enough to get it across the finish line. I think that's look at all of their goals and things like that. They're all just crazy. I mean, like they have to, I don't know this for sure. I'd have to look, but they have to be the leaders of goals outside the box. I mean, even in the final, Mo Espinoza was shooting from outside the box, trying to get stuff in there, and it's like they over relied on that. They scored a ton of goals, and created all these wonderful moments of magic, but when it really came down to it, they weren't able to have any sort of consistency.
No, you're right. And also the thing they did, and I don't know how many picked up on this, but Tormenta didn't let Metzingen get the ball in any dangerous spaces. Like they always kind of double teamed her the entire time.
Seems like a sound strategy.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Considering he has the propensity to just score the dumbest goals.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Dumb in like a good way, not dumb in like a bad way. Well,
He's
dumb
only
if
shooting
you're playing
bangers.
against him. Yeah, I mean it's always like 0.05% XG goals from like completely on the opposite side, curve it around like over 180 degrees. It's like what?
I mean,
How?
the first goal they scored in the season against Madison was a good representative of that was going to be the theme of the season. Like it was, but I think they forced it out wide a lot. Tormenta forced Chattanooga to go wide, which I don't think Chattanooga was ultimately ready to deal with because they figured if we go through the middle, we can have Ray Ortiz kind of play more in that floating 10. We can have whoever's the striker kind of make the run behind. And they just couldn't. So then it was like, okay, we'll go out wide. And then it would go over to Espinoza. And he would put in a cross, and no one was there.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, but
it's really bad enough to try and put a cross in the air with Dengler and Phelps there. But if you're, yeah.
I was just going to say, like, I think that's probably the weakest part of Chattanooga's team is maybe those wingers. Because the best part about Chattanooga is everything's in the midfield, and then maybe the 10 and the striker. But when it comes to Chattanooga, you rarely think of the wingers because the wingers, to me, don't really seem to get that involved in the play as much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Tormenta forced them to do. It was like, hey, we're going to make you play on the wing and not allow you just to take pop shots from 20 yards out straight in goal. Like we know you want to. But, yeah. Any other thoughts on the final? I know because Sterling won MVP. He was deserving of it. Bo,
I will say it was an entertaining final. Like,
it was.
especially
Was it the best
considering
final?
the day before you had the MLS Cup final, then you can kind of, and like, this final was also pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Is this the best USL League One final yet?
Yes, easily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very much so.
I wouldn't say the best off the field celebrations. I still give that to Greenville last year. Well, in 2020, where they was just like, yeah, we're gonna have interleague scrimmage, but I think John Hart's did the worm or something. I can't remember. I can't remember what he did, but still, that was still hilarious. Yeah, because I certainly get MVP. I'm pretty sure we all feel like this is probably his farewell to USL League One.
Yeah.
Give him some.
He's gone.
Yeah, definitely.
If he stays, that's
USL
great.
probably.
But, especially with it being Tormenta and them being the team that was the most successful, has been the most successful actually selling guys that they sign. Like, you got to imagine they're going to get rated pretty hardcore no matter what happens, but they're also going to get money from them. So that's what you want to see ultimately, I guess.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. A real bad joke just went in my head when I read Kyle's comment about tornado warnings going off in the middle of the night and not expecting them. I'm like, what if you're an 87-year-old woman and you hear that and then you die because of the sirens and you just like,
What?
and then you got to explain to God, like, how did you die? I heard tornado warnings. I thought it was it. And God's like, no, Tormenta just scored. And then he just died because of that. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna keep the show on track because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
All right.
That analogy was just a choice.
It was, but I mean,
Oh.
ta-da! All right, postseason awards. Well, hold on. Before we go to that, let's take a moment to talk about the CBA that was done by USLPA.
Again?
Did we talk about it already?
We talked about it last week.
We did. Totally forgot about that.
We
good.
didn't have the document out and ready. I don't still see it, so
Oh yeah. Oh, SeatGeek, but I don't. Does that affect everyone? I had that in the notes too.
Only
It's-
2 of the teams.
Yeah. It doesn't affect everyone, but I feel like it's going to be one of those things where eventually it's going to affect everyone.
Yeah.
Did I miss something with SeatGeek? Oh no.
The
So-
league has this partnership with SeatGeek.
What's SeatGeek
So
though?
there are 10 teams right now. 8 of them are in the championship. The only ones in USL League One are Richmond Kickers and Lexington.
Which I don't know how y'all buy tickets. Is it through FIVO?
Ours is my pro, like Sports Pro Venue or my Pro Venue or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You
we
know,
get like promo links through FIVO, but our tickets are bought through ticket. Like if you have a season tickets, it's through like if you ever bought like US soccer tickets, it's that account manager Ticketmaster thing.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
No.
what I was saying.
yeah. Union Omaha has some jankety ass app.
Yeah, I just do FIVO on it. I don't like it. So we'll see how it is with SeatGeek. I think I used SeatGeek once for Charleston Battery. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't.
Wait, you get your season tickets through FIVO?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I mean, also I don't pay for a season. Oh, let me take it back. I do get a season ticket, but I barely use it because I have a media pass. So I get the games for free that way.
Yeah.
My wife
But yeah,
uses
no.
it.
So yeah, right now there's a new agreement. So the 5 teams that are joining this next year: Tulsa, Detroit City, Lexington,
Mhm.
Monterey, and Richmond, and then Charleston, Colorado Springs, Hartford, and Louisville and New Mexico had it previously. So they had already. So now it's up to 10.
Yeah, so that should be fun. Did we go over the postseason awards? Nah, I'm mixing 2 shows in my head. This is what happened.
Yes,
to
we
your
went
podcast.
over the postseason awards.
Okay. See, Kyle, this is why I have you. You do the hard work that I
This is
receive.
the only reason.
exactly.
It helps when I have to listen to the episode 2 or 3 times to make sure that it sounded good and could get uploaded.
And this is why we love him. All right, moving on. Our team is joining. Well, is in the process of joining USL League One to see if they really do make it, because we have other teams said they were going to make it, and then they flaked on us, like Fort Wayne, Portland, New Hampshire. Is Real Central New Jersey real? And why does this team has multiple names? This is very American.
Please help. They got to
Dr.
change the name. They got to change the name.
All right. I mean,
Here first, change the name.
Taylor Pork FC.
yeah.
Look, dude,
Oh,
Central New
Iowa.
Jersey FC, Real New Jersey FC,
Central
New Jersey
doesn't
FC.
exist.
Central New Jersey, Real New Jersey. Just do something, but you can't have all of it. Just chop some shit up.
Mhm. Yes. Something.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
too much.
Trim it down.
Imagine
Central
trying to do a
doesn't
chant like.
exist. We're gonna keep saying that.
Let's go, Real Central New Jersey FC. Real Broncos. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go,
Can we do
Real
that
Central New Jersey
this quick?
FC. Broncos. Let's go. It's a mouthful.
You can't even like do an acronym for it either.
No, well, it's just the mush at that point. But it's in like, but I think they'll figure something out because Central Jersey FC. Like, no one's thinking of Jersey over in England anymore. If you hear Jersey in the United States,
So I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm now looking up to see what rappers are from Jersey or Central New Jersey. Fetty Wap is from Central New Jersey.
not anymore. He's not.
Oh, that's
What
let's
happens
see.
when you try to move like $200 million of fentanyl?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, all these other rappers I don't know. They're all kind of trash. All right, never mind. That joke's
How you
gone.
say you don't know them and then call them trash?
Well, because they're
Oh,
trash.
yeah, they suck.
Yeah, I don't know you. You're trash.
You know what? If Fetty Wap did come to games, though, you'd obviously have a natural rivalry between the Remy boys.
Wait.
Just let me get the
Hold
joke
on.
off.
No,
You'd
okay,
have
you
the
go
rivalry
ahead.
between the Henny boys and the Remy boys.
Boo. Well, I'll give you that one.
Wah, wah, wah.
I'll give him that
And
one.
that ass, I always had this question because Fetty Wap can't see out of one eye. So like, does he get half off on glasses or like?
Goodbye.
I'm just saying, or like when he cries, like does he have to rub the other eye or like is it just?
Okay, wait. How are we saying New Jersey? Okay, are you saying like right now there's no good rappers out of New Jersey, or just in general?
Well, I'm looking at Central New Jersey, just that part. Because all the good rappers come from North Jersey.
Central
Okay.
Jersey does not exist.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is North
Like,
North
you
Jersey
deal
is
with
the
an
New York
Ira on that
side?
one.
North Jersey is the New York side, and South Jersey is the Philly side, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, I'm looking at like rappers from New Jersey. I was like, wait, Akon's on there, Ice-T, Queen Latifah, Lauryn Hill, and I was
Just-
like, hold on, we're gonna have to fight about this.
Yeah,
Just go ahead and-
let's slow it down.
Just-
Central Jersey. Okay, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah, just go ahead and just claim Meek Mill and say you're closer to Philly.
God, hey, I
Meek
swear,
Mill's
if
probably
this team
never been to
walked out-
Central Jersey in his life. It's like, yeah, it's Philly, I guess.
Yeah, I swear, if this team walks out the
You know,
gym,
just say Central C, and maybe you'll get a UK contingent that'll catch on to your team.
So this team initials is RCNJFC.
That's too much.
Yeah, Ira, I'm gonna need you to cut these. cut
All right,
something.
yeah, Ira, before you get to USL League One, you gotta change the team name. That's the only stipulation. You don't need the stadium. You need a new team name.
Just gotta cut something. Gotta cut something. All right, y'all. Well, this is the fun part of the show. This is the part where we kind of go over our predictions from the start of the year and also give you our awards. We'll save the going over our predictions at the start of the year for the end part of the show. But the awards, we'll start off first with underrated defensive MVP. So pretty much, this is the player who didn't get any love throughout the year. We thought should have got some love. So, Chip, we'll start with you, buddy.
My underrated defensive MVP.
Sure.
There we go.
I think I'm lost in the show notes. That underrated defensive MVPs after Central New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's
Just to make
highlighted
sure.
for you.
I just wanted to make sure because
God damn
Yeah.
it, Freddie Wap.
think about. I was just thinking Trap Queen in my head, and I can completely lost track of where I was. Well, I have Dalton Knudsen just because I don't want to get tarred and feathered next Omaha game I go to. If you guys missed it, which you probably did, Dalton Knudsen is a player for Union Omaha who's a center back. He's been there for 3 years now. Great guy. Hopefully he's 6th round, but if not, he's definitely earned whatever he wants to do after this. But he Omaha put together some stats to chirp back at the USL official account for not naming him to the defensive all team, and it was like highest FOTMOB rating for a center back. He appeared the most minutes. These are admirable things. I think Brandon aired him out and said he's a good defender. He just doesn't get stats.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of hard to make that argument that he is, but I would like to not get yelled at the next time I go to a Union Omaha event. So Dalton Knudsen is my underrated defensive MVP just because only one fan base thinks he should have won, and that's Omaha.
All right. Next up, Kyle, got you, buddy.
I went bias as well. I am saying Eric Leonard over at Ford Madison. I think when I think of Ford Madison's back line, he was an ever-present there. 1.2 tackles per 90, pretty solid, and a high tackle rate. He also had 1.7 interceptions per 90, which was tied for 7th in the league. And I think it was just like between that and his clearances, and for how short he is, the fact that he is playing as a center back, which is not his best role, and he is able to still kind of statistically be up there with Mitch Osmond, his own teammate, and some of the other defenders in the league. I just thought he was probably the glue that kept Ford Madison's defense together along with Mitch Osmond. But Osmond probably got more the statistical side, while it's like Eric Leonard, if you watch him, he was just everywhere. So I went with Eric Leonard for the underrated defensive MVP.
All right. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. Brandon, who did you have, sir?
I went with Luca Mastrantonio. I thought that, coming into his second season at Tucson, not only did I think that he did really well both on the ball and off the ball, their back line was incredible at distributing the ball. He's insane in the air, and I thought he did incredible for what kind of the hand he was dealt, if you will, playing in a team where you're pretty much always under pressure. Him and Eric Kisner, I thought were fantastic. So if we're talking underrated, like that's the guy I'm thinking of because honestly, he couldn't catch a break. Him and Skelton could never catch a break because they were always, they're on teams that, if they were in somewhere else, they might just blend in, but they were just always under pressure. And Master Antonio specifically for Tucson was incredible under pressure. So.
All right, cool with me. Who do you have?
So, not gonna lie, I didn't open this document until 2 minutes before we started.
As always, we expect it.
So you're gonna get all Homer picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Underrated defensive player that didn't get as much love, Max Flick.
Always.
Okay. All right. Not bad. For me, I went with Shalom Duty from Charlotte Independence. Give you his stats real quick. Let's see. Blocks per 90. What? He was like 90. He had 91 block per 90. He was in the top rate of that. And then clearances per 90, he had 3.6. So he was up there. Every time I watch Charlotte in Richmond games or Independence games, he kind of already stood out as probably the best defender on the field, and Charlotte's defense was dog shit. Yeah, he kind of deserves some love, and I think like if he was at another team, like a bigger profile team in USL League One, we would talk about him a lot more if he was outside of Charlotte. So that's why I'm there. So now we move on to underrated offensive MVP, and let's see. We start with Chip. Kyle, we'll start with you this time. Who you got, bud?
I had Irvin Para.
Okay.
For someone that was, top 10 in goals, pretty up there in assists, tied for fourth for goals and assists, and it feels as though, it makes sense why, considering all the strikers in this league. Like, you had Terzaghi, you had Sterling, you had McLaughlin, you had Galindras, like, you had a bunch, like, Labovitz for a while. But it kind of felt like Irvin Para just had, like, a really good year, and we just kind of, and maybe it's just the expectation, but I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, good job. You did what we kind of expected. Nothing was surprised about it. So I went with Irvin Para. I just felt like he just did what he did, and everyone was just like cool with it. He made the second team, but it just felt like when we're talking about like the top strikers, we did not really mention him.
Yeah, that's true. Which is unfortunate because he had a really, really good year. He probably was the face of NOCO and kept them in the playoff race to the very last second. Brandon, who do you have, sir?
I couldn't decide between Corey Bennett and Louis Perez. Corey Bennett, we talked about Trezor Mbuyu all season long, but Corey Bennett Trezor Mbuyu had 16 contributions. Corey Bennett had 15. And I thought that Corey Bennett's kind of versatility and how he grew as a player this season was incredible. So I think he's one of those players who didn't get noticed a ton. And he went under the radar because there was so much talk about Mbuyu. But, that dude worked his butt off, and I thought he did really well. And then Louis Perez, just because he was FC Tucson on the attack. So, the only reason they scored half the time was either him or Donnie Toya. So.
Yeah, true. All right. Eb, who do you have?
Homer pick, Jordan Servania.
It's not bad. Not a bad pick of that one.
Honestly, he's on a very bad second half team of NCFC, but he was still creating chances. Garrett McLaughlin should have not been in the gold boot race if it was not for Servania.
That's fair. I'll go with that. Can't go wrong with that. Chip, who do you have, sir?
I also have Irvin Para. Again, Kyle did a really good job of talking about him, but again, he wasn't on a playoff team. They played at weird times. They played some weird scheduling. So by the time they were playing a lot of their games, they're kind of already out of the picture and out of the hunt. And so despite how good he played, unless he scored against your team, you probably forgot about him. So Para it is.
Guys, I'm shocked no one said Cheney, so I put him. Guy was top 3 in shots per 90, goals per 90, and shots on target per 90, and literally was the face of Fuego's attack once Bevjev fell off a cliff. Let's not forget, we all thought Bevjev was about to come in here and fuck shit up. Then after 4 games, he was like, "Oh, I'm old. I can't be doing all this running." And Cheney took over, and he literally kept. Fuego's defense let them down, but Cheney kept them on top. And I feel like Del Fuego probably would agree with me on that. Like, he was the face of that attack. So, it is disappointing. He's probably the only player on that team outside of maybe Nathan Smith and maybe Ant-Man that should have got a look at the USL All-League team or got into one of the votes.
Because were they the team that had nobody? They had nobody, right?
They had no one.
Tucson got a player in, which is wild. Just saying. That was just wild. All right. So now we move on to new player of the year. Brandon, we start with you, sir.
I mean, who else? Who am I going to pick? You know, like, it's because I asked Sterling.
Yeah.
I'm not even explaining it.
I mean,
3 of us had him. We was like, yeah, we already know.
I'm not explaining it.
Yeah, no.
I was trying to give other options because I was like, well, I know, like, if I had to pick someone other than Gonzalez Sterling, I went with Mbuyu,
which is also a great pick too.
Yeah.
who probably was like the first, like, arguably the first half of the season MVP.
Yeah.
So I just went different because I figured we were all going to say Sterling anyway, because he rightfully was the new player of the year.
Who do you have?
Do you want my joke answer or my real answer?
Both.
Yes.
Both. Newcomer of the year, Rincon. Or Shogun.
That's not bad.
That's not bad either.
That's not bad. That's not a bad pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But if you want the real answer, you could literally pick anybody from like Charlotte that came in for the year. So Mbuyu, the goalkeeper. Like they just had so many wild, like off the. It was just wild. Like that whole team was a big clusterfuck of new and what the fuck. So
they didn't have a roster until like 2 days before the league started.
Right.
And then they literally spent like every bit of money they possibly could.
You're right, every bit of money. You know what? Honestly, who I would give 2 shout out to? I'll give a shout out to Kings for Ajay because he did a lot of dirty work for Tormenta, and then 2 Arthur Rogers out of NOCO. He did a real good job out there. Pretty much was Damian Villanueva 2.0. That's literally what he was.
Well, I thought Rogers was really good too, which is I still think it's crazy I think it's crazy that the league nominated him for MVP. I don't think it's necessarily crazy that he got nominated for MVP, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing more at when they explain like the awards. If you go on the Wikipedia page, they'll say like individual awards. They'll say like Golden Boot, Terzaghi, 17 goals, 29 games, Golden Glove Nuhu, 9 shutouts, 0.98 average. They'll say like goalkeeper of the year for Nuhu, again, the 9.8 goals. And then they'll get the defender of the year, Arthur Rogers. 80 chances created, 9 assists. That's not defending.
Like what? I don't think that award is what you think it is, sir.
I just laugh because like it even sounds like MVP Terzaghi, 3 braces, 3 game-winning goals, like Coach of the Year Darren for winning the regular season title. I'm just like, you're having the defender of the year and you're not having any defensive stats.
In fairness, he did really good defensively, but
right. But I'm just
dumb that
I
they
was
just
just laughing because it's like you
but
see
no
the
one's looking at
reasoning.
there and be like, that boy can shut down the defense.
because he was in the goal net.
Hey, the best defense is a good offense, right?
Right. This man whole highlight package was him attacking, and everyone's just sitting there like, that's the defender.
That's defending. There wasn't a single tackle on the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
This league. All right. We come down to the biggest surprise of the year. So this is the thing that surprised you the most. Eb, let's start with you, homie. What is your biggest surprise of the year?
So my homerism one is the second half collapse of the season for NCFC. That was my biggest surprise because we built a very complete lineup, I think. that just didn't know how to finish the season, whether it was because they didn't know how to be professionals or the injury bug or whatever it was. My non-homer answer is Charlotte doing as well as they did all season and making it into the top 6.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm pretty sure that loss to Charlotte, what was it, the last game of the season? Probably stung a little bit. Yeah.
This one? Oh, I was drunk in the stands. I didn't care.
Oh, okay. That's a positive. All right.
I had some good food in Charlotte.
Yeah. Chip, what do you have, sir?
I have League One success in the U.S. Open Cup. So this is only the second time that League One has participated. Second time that League One has participated in the U.S. Open Cup due to the cancellations. And so it was super cool to see my team, Omaha, play for the first time ever. I believe 9 teams made it past the first round. Omaha obviously beat 2 MLS teams, advanced to the final 8. NOCO, who didn't even make the playoffs in League One, upset Real Salt Lake. You had a couple different upsets over championship sides. I believe Tormenta beat 2 different championship sides in Birmingham and Charleston. And so overall, it was crazy to see all the success, and they arguably did better than the USL Championship in the Open Cup, which is completely crazy due to the perceived gap in talent between the 2 leagues. I think it's definitely something that highlighted the quality of this league. I know if you don't watch this league, there's probably a perception that it's not very good soccer. The players aren't very good. But watching the Open Cup this year is really hard to defend that point anymore, given the success of everyone. And it'll be interesting because I think if you're an MLS or USL Championship side next year, you probably can't take League One lying down, especially because I'd say this was probably the worst League One's been talent-wise, at least compared to 2021. And they still did really good in the Open Cup this year. So it'll be fun to see what happens next year in the Open Cup.
Yeah, sure. Kyle, who do you have, sir?
Oh, and Kaylor, they lost to eventual champion Tormenta, so that will hopefully take some of the sting off of it.
There we go. I had Chattanooga's second half of the season surge to the title game because there was a stretch where they could not do anything correct. Their coach was suspended. They were under investigation for potentially having to miss the contract line. Like that happened as well. Like Chattanooga was a shit show. So the fact that they were able to get it together and make the playoffs, which I think despite all that, like they're still a playoff contending team. But you go in, you win a tough game against Omaha, who defensively, again, the longer that game goes, I thought the better it is for Omaha because if you can get to a shootout with Nuhu, your odds are good. You go into Richmond, beat them, questionable refereeing aside, and you, even though you lost the final, like it wasn't like you got played off the field that badly. So I think just given all the shit that was going on with Chattanooga, players are tweeting, being upset about other players being signed. I think that caught me. I think that was a surprise to me, like how far they got, because I feel like, and we'll talk about it with the letdown, on a different team probably collapses and falls apart, and Chattanooga just kept finding ways to win.
Yeah, sure. Brandon, on to you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I thought coming into this year, Tormenta, they lose Marco Micheletto, and they sell off one of their starting defenders to the championship. They lose their striker, sell off another striker. I was thinking, what the heck are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like, I've already been roasted for it like 20 billion times, but I had them as like 10th in like my little preseason thing, my preseason standings, just because it's like they sold off all these people, and at one point it was just like, who are they bringing back? What are they going to do? And time again, they beat the odds. They were incredible, and For me, I think if I'm thinking from the beginning of the season to now, that Tormenta won the whole thing was my biggest surprise this season. I mean, like, we even halfway through, we knew they were good, but like winning the title good, we still weren't sure. I think this was crazy as a trophy, not necessarily winning the league, but just winning that trophy is insane. And that for me was definitely the biggest surprise.
Right. Ab, did you already go? No,
Yeah.
All right, cool. Mine's is pretty simple. Richmond winning the fucking league because I didn't expect it. Was not expecting it. Greenville was supposed to take over us in USL League One because every time we played Greenville, oddly enough, it was 1 versus 2, and we fucking lost. Union Omaha had a shit ton of games in hand, in some way nutted to bed and didn't do it. Tormenta was supposed to get 1 seed at one point, but luckily enough, there wasn't enough games left in the regular season to hold them off. And oddly enough, Chattanooga as well. And Richmond wins the fucking league. My biggest surprise of the year. I'll take it.
I need to change my underrated offensive MVP real quick.
Why?
My underrated offensive MVP is Jonathan Bolaños because of how underrated Richmond was.
There you go. I like it. I love it. All right. Biggest letdown of the year. So I'll start off. My biggest letdown of the year was NCFC's form pretty much since mid-June. From mid-June on, they lost. They've only won 3 games. And I don't know what happened to that team. I don't know if it was a locker room thing. I don't know if it was coaching decision, injuries, what. But that team did not look like the same team to start the year off that was in, I think 4th place at one point? Yeah, wasn't the same
They
team.
were in 2nd at one point, I'm pretty sure.
They were. Right, they were. Just sad. And we're on 42 minutes, so we don't take super forever. Let's get through these picks a little quick. Kyle, you can go, sir.
Ford Madison's end of the season shit show of just unable 9 games without a win to end the season after having a very good June and July.
Agreed.
All right. Chip, what you got, sir?
I have NOCO. I think a lot of us thought they were going to be really, really good at the beginning of the year. I think I had them 2nd overall. They brought in Irvin Parra, who was one of the top scorers in championship. They brought in EVD, who had what should have been an MVP candidate in 2020. They had all sorts of talent that they brought in. I think a lot of us were really high on them, especially in a league that lost so much talent. They seemed like the team that had all of it, but they just couldn't put it together, whether that is because of the venue or because of who they signed or what. I say that they definitely didn't live up to the expectations that I had for them, at least. And so that was kind of disappointing because I thought they'd be really, really good, and they ended up being kind of in there in the fat part of the bell curve with teams that I didn't think were going to be very good at all.
True. Brandon. Did you go? Yeah, Brandon.
Madison.
Yeah.
Said I agree with Kyle.
Okay. There you go. Madison once again. And Eb, who do you have?
I agree with you, Yogi.
Thank
It was my
you.
biggest surprise and my biggest letdown.
I agree with it. Sorry, Eb. Sorry.
It's not you. It's my team.
All right. Moment of the year. So this is the moment where we were like, all right, this is going to be the standout moment for the year. The moment we go back on and look at. 3 out of the 5 of us agree is the 5-5 Greenville Tormenta game, which I think that night, I'll never forget it. We were in the chat like, holy shit, what is happening? Because we all collectively turned away from the game because it was getting close to all G's time. And then we come back and it's 5-5. And we're like, what is this?
I mean, there were so many good games. Like, the 5-5 is obviously the biggest one. But then
I
it's
put the
that
3-3
like,
because that was
I saw
like the
you put
first or
that.
second game of the year.
Yeah.
it's that turnaround game where Charlotte lost like 6-1 and then won like 5-2.
Oh, yeah.
Don't remind Kyle.
No. What was the winner there?
You know what? That was post Henny Derby victory. They had like on 2 or 3 days rest. I was like, whatever. Heavily rotated. I was like, whatever. Fuck it.
No,
It
what was
happens.
the one? it was weird because Fort Madison won the Henny Derby, then lost 6-2 to Charlotte, and then Charlotte goes to Chattanooga. And
Other way around. Other way around.
No. Charlotte lost to Chattanooga like 6-1, 7-1. Played Fort
7-2.
Madison, won 6-2. Fort Madison, that's like 3 days before, beat Richmond. Came back and beat Richmond.
Yeah, that whole week was stupid. That whole week was stupid. And that's when we labeled this league dumb. All right. So now we move on to the fun part where we get roasted for our preseason picks. So how we're going to do this is
Oh my god.
we're going to tell you what I'm going to tell you what everyone's season grade is. And then I'm going to read out the person's prediction of that team and have that person try to defend that pick.
Hey, I
So-
think I hear my
Oh,
baby
no.
crying.
not
It's been real
defending
fun, guys.
anything.
Damn, my
Internet's
internet really cuts
ridiculous.
me.
You're not defending anything.
All right, so here we go. So we're going to start off with Noko, who technically was the bottom, but here's Noko. All right, so for me, I gave him a C+. Brandon went C+, B-. Chip went C+. C+. Cal went C-. Eb went C-. The fans went a B.
And that was like a 47% B. So it was like a B/C.
Here
So we'll call it B-.
Oh, wait, did we not do? No, we did. Okay, yeah, here it is. Here's the preseason prediction for NoCo. Will secure a playoff spot. Donzo Ulysses will make his mark on the league this season.
What?
I forgot
Brandon,
about
do you
that.
want to defend it?
Bro, he got hurt.
And I'm not gonna lie,
didn't
he was
play.
close. They almost made the playoffs.
I was gonna
And
say they
had
only
to-
missed the playoffs by a win, technically. If they should have gone like goal difference like every other league, they would have made the playoffs.
I'm convinced that if he was still playing, they would have made the playoffs.
Oh, that's funny. All right, I move on to NCFC. NCFC across the board, D, straight up, like straight up. Here was the preseason prediction for them. They will be a play. I'm sorry. Hold on. I just need 2 seconds. All right. Whew. They will be a playoff team. May even host a game. Attendance will suffer due to off-the-field decisions by the front office, but it will be the better of the two clubs in the NCFC family. This prediction was done by none other than Ab. Ab, would you like to defend it?
There's no defending shit play in the second half of the season. It's none. It's none.
It's crazy. It's funny because
I yield my time.
NCFC started off the season so hot, and the Courage started off the season so badly, and then it flip flopped near the end where Courage almost made the playoffs. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Fort Madison. All across D, we do have an F in there from none other than Chip, which is not surprising.
They went from being like, I think somebody in this chat whose name will go without being said had some really flowery piece about them where they said, oh, they're like a lock to host a playoff game, and they go from that to like in the running for the wooden spoon the last week of the year.
It was me. It was one tweet. That
I
was
know.
a joke.
Was it a joke?
It was not a
And-
joke.
I think it was in
And
fairness, you were going on the
Fun
Ford
fact,
Madison podcast.
They didn't win a single game after that tweet.
God, that's bad. Here's the specific prediction for them, preseason prediction. Top 3 in goals allowed and fewer than 7 draws. The person who said this was none other than Kyle. Would you like to defend it?
It was looking good for the first half of the year, and then they went basically 2 months without winning a game.
You traded draws for losses.
They still had more than 7 draws.
They had
They had
12 draws. They had more draws than they did losses.
Oh,
They
man.
only Omaha had the same amount of draws as them.
God, that's damn. All right. Next, we have Tucson, who they got 2 C's, but they still got more D's.
I'm
than
not.
that.
I'm not. Just get it out.
All right, let's go on and read this. This is Kyle. So
Oh, it's Kyle. Woo!
so the
Dodging bullets so far.
preseason prediction on Tucson was Tucson would not make the playoffs. There you go,
Nailed it.
Kyle. There you go.
Yeah,
It got shaky in September.
a little bit there. That was a little nerve wracking.
they had me. It was getting dicey in September, but nailed it.
All right. So now we move on to Fuego. Fuego got C's across the board, except for the fans. We gave them a B. So the fans were a little bit more up on Fuego than we were.
Which is
But-
surprising.
Yeah. The preseason prediction on Fuego was, Chip, this is you. Will lead the league in attendance. And will break the average attendance record set by Madison, 4.2 a game, and will make the playoffs. Chip.
So, do you guys want to know the worst? Do you guys want to know the worst part about that prediction?
Oh,
The worst part about that.
we made it in A's to Madison, and it's so funny.
So the worst part about that prediction was before I made that prediction, I already knew that they could only hold 3,000 people in their stadium. But I'm like, you know what? They're gonna sell out. Like they did really well. They won't beat them, but they'll sell out. And then at least I can be like, well, they sold out every game, and yeah, that didn't happen. They had $15 beers, $20 to just tailgate in the parking lot. Like
And
There's some
multiple games with
there's
no
some
supporter
fuckery.
section.
yeah, there's some fuckery going on by the Fuego.
I will
front
just to
office.
emphasize how wrong this prediction was. There were 3 teams that had a lower average attendance than Fuego.
Yep.
One of them was a team that was homeless. One of them was a team that had monsoons every other week, so they couldn't really keep fans. And the other, at the very least, built a new stadium in Tormenta.
Hey!
In fact, Fuego's highest attendance was just over 100 than Madison's lowest attendance.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Woo!
So hilarious. All right, Charlotte.
They'll get him next year.
Stop it. Charlotte get B's across the board. This is the preseason prediction on them. Which, by the way, I didn't realize I typed their name as a Charlotte FC. Dead last
enough.
in League 2, done by who other than Ed?
This was just hater. This was just hater.
This is hate.
I was in my hater bag. I don't care. I was in my
They
hater
didn't have
bag.
any players when we had the preseason show.
That's fair. They had 3 players.
They could have had Charlotte FC in there, and I would have still said the same thing.
I'm just laughing at the key signings for Charlotte. It just says Jan 6 enthusiast.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Union
This water's
Omaha.
disgusting.
We went C's across the board, except for Ab and Chip, who gave them B's. So, the specific prediction, the preseason prediction on them, I'm going to them right now.
Mine was
Will
good.
make the
so this is gonna
playoffs
be
on the
me.
last day of the season. Will not lead the league in attendance, but will still outdraw Madison. This is done by Chip.
Got one of them right.
Yeah, it was pretty
I mean,
close. on
Omaha
some
clinched
of it.
before the last day.
Ah,
so-
You're right. You're right.
But it's pretty damn close. Like it was pretty hairy there for a bit.
They were fighting it out with Tucson there for a hot second.
Yeah. Well, because I think I had them. Yeah, everyone was. I had them 4th. I think I picked them 4th and they ended up 5th. So I don't feel too bad
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, I mean, I was shocked by Madison's resurgence in attendance. Not that we're in post-COVID, but in a more post-COVID world than we were last year. Yeah, but they knocked it out of the park. No notes. They were higher than they were in 2019, which is great. And Omaha, I think Omaha ended the year like slightly above last year, which is good, but also, not as much as I thought they would do. But then again, like in the back half of the season, we sucked. So like people just stopped going to games. So there's that too, which didn't help.
All right. Chattanooga. Mostly A's. I gave him a B plus. Ab gave him a B minus.
I'm afraid this is gonna be me again.
Okay,
worried.
why the B minus?
For me,
Yeah.
Fuck
Uh,
it.
for one, yeah, because if it was within a better environment, I probably would have given him an A actually, despite the loss. But I didn't want to discredit the work that the players did with but I don't think I could have really given them that much higher, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay, that makes more sense because I was like, they made the final when
Yeah,
we didn't expect it. I think we should give them something for that.
that's why I stayed at the B.
Yeah. All right, this is the preseason prediction made by Ebb. They will be the equivalent of you scored 3, we'll score 4 based on the current roster. I
Yeah,
think that's pretty spot on.
yeah.
think that's pretty spot on. All right, we move to Tormenta, who I did. All right, here we go. Hope ball's not watching. All across the board, A. Pretty much an A plus for winning the league in the cup. I said South Georgia Tormenta will make at least one Sports Center top 10 for a what the fuck moment. They technically did with their 5-5 game. That was it. So that's that one. And then we have Greenville. Greenville gets a B from everyone on the board except Callum Ebony, who gave them a C. And the specific prediction on them, this was done by Brandon.
Yeah.
Galvanaz will lead the league in assist. Oh, no.
It's not over yet.
It
gets
It
worse.
gets funnier.
It gets worse.
Jake
This is my
Keegan
favorite
will
part right
drop
here. This is my favorite part.
Hey,
Say it loud,
Hattie.
say it loud.
on Madison.
Man was out getting cardio 90% of the season. Just like last year. That man is out for cardio exercise.
Oh my gosh.
He got to hang it up, dog. It's time. Him and Becca. It's time. Just go.
Go sell
Go to the
insurance or
retirement
something.
league.
That was my favorite, even if it was wrong. I still enjoyed picking that the most. I will not. I won't. Because I didn't pick that because I thought it was real. I picked that because I knew it'd make Kyle annoyed.
It would have. Even one goal would have made me annoyed, let alone a hat trick.
All right. So Richmond, everyone gave them A's except for Em. She gave them a B. The preseason prediction we had on Richmond, which is done by me, was Tazargi would not win the Golden Boot, but their goal difference of -1 would be +5 by the end of the season. I was way the fuck off. It was +19. Didn't see this happening. But Tazargi didn't tell me shut the hell up and won another Golden Boot. Didn't see it happening.
We weren't good at these predictions.
No.
These are quite funny, dog. These are hilarious. So we got those team grades. Now we move on to let's go ahead and talk about it. Who is your personal favorite player of the year? For me, it was Kingsford Ajay. He was my personal favorite. I love watching the man when he played for Tormenta. He's probably going to go on and do bigger and better things. Kyle, who do you have, sir?
I had Arthur Rogers. It was just, you know what? What if you just put a USL League One version of Trent, but can defend a little bit better?
Man.
And that was fun.
Trent Alexander Rogers, am I right?
Brandon, who did you
That's
have?
not fair. That's not fair to Rogers.
Hey!
Rogers was better defensively.
Anyway.
So I picked Gabriel Cabral from Tormenta. Yeah, I was trying not to be a homer on this one, but I thought Gabriel Cabral was fantastic, and I'm still actually mad about, impressed mad about that his press in the playoffs that led to the Kingsford goal. The Kingsford goal, sorry, because I had a goal.
All right. Let's see. Ooh, we're getting Chip. Who do you have, sir?
I have Menzigen from the Sad Wolves. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that guy was doing half the time.
Scoring
Bro,
bangers off the bench.
Scoring,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, but it wasn't just bangers. It was like you shouldn't be shooting that shot, but you made it. Like we had this kid playing. I wasn't good at basketball growing up, which I'm sure is going to be a shocker to everyone here. But we had this kid on our team that would like pull up from half court, and our coach said, "Don't shoot that. You can't shoot that shot." Until he made it one time in a game, and our coach is just like, "Whatever, just shoot the damn thing." And that's like what Menzigen is. It's like, don't shoot that, and then he scores. It's like, well, shit. Like, what do I tell him now? He scored like 5 of them. Like, yeah, man, go ahead, just shoot it, whatever.
Threw them in the playoffs.
Have fun out.
Okay.
Have fun.
2 things. I feel bad for anyone who listened to the audio version of this and they just heard shoot that. 2, I can just imagine Chip as like a 10-year-old on a basketball team. Like, I don't want to play. I'll just do the team taxes and whatnot and save us a bunch of money.
I was really good at passing the ball the second I got it.
Let's go. Yeah, there you go.
I'd get the ball. Stop. There you go. I don't think I got defended when I was out there after a while.
Oh no!
But it was Y ball, so you had to play everyone. So I just was like, I don't want to be here either, man.
Oh man.
The worst part was our coach was my dentist, and so he's told my wife about my basketball playing exploits
Oh my gosh.
in elementary school. And she's like, "What the hell were you doing?" It's like, I don't know, Kristen.
Oh my god! That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Who is your personal favorite player, homie?
You want my Homer version?
Give us who you want.
My Homer is going to be Showcat. I see him healthy next year, and that's going to be a fun matchup. Like him and Alex and Savanya and Garrett together, if they all stay, it's going to be so much fun. With Rincon, the kid is like 15. I don't even think he's hit puberty yet. That's going to be great.
Okay. All right. So before we go into our breakdown, what each team needs to work on for the offseason, I'm going to read off who we thought our picks were for newcomer of the year, golden boot, assist leader, defender of the year, keeper of the year, coach of the year, and whatever.
Oh no.
The most funniest one for newcomer of the year is I actually picked Keziah Sterling to win newcomer of the year. Brandon picked Drew Connor.
That's the funniest one there.
For golden boot, I went EVD, and he scored all 3 goals. And with McLaughlin and Chip Hedgersaki. So
Yeah.
that's literally the top 6 right there.
Crazy that
he's the top 50.
Crazy that the guy that was the golden boot the last 2 years in a row was golden boot again. I mean, that's, who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it? Assist leader. Chip went Don Smart. Kyle had Benjev.
That was fine like the first month of the season, okay?
Oh yeah.
Brandon, of course, with Galvanez.
I
had Neil Vinyals. Defender of the
Right
year.
team, wrong player for you, Yogi.
Yeah. Defender of the year, Chip had Mitch Osman. I had Dakota Barnathan. Brandon had Brandon Fickey. Jamie Smith for Ebb, and then Brandon Fickey again. All of us wrong because it went to a winger.
This is great content, but can we not do this next year?
Oh no, we're doing this next year. I gotta redeem myself.
Goalkeeper of the year, I went Pablo Hara. Yeah, I was wrong. Paul Christensen was Brandon and Kyle. Knew who was Chip. You were right. And with Nick Holiday. Yeah. Coach of the year.
Oh,
I went Ian Cameron, which I was close on.
You should
I
have
was
won.
the only one to have my person in there.
Probably should have won.
Chip with Zayed, Brandon with John Harks, Eb with John Bradford, Kyle, of course, with Jimmy Obleda.
Wah, 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 wah,
I got
wah.
nothing for that one.
Hey, right team, wrong guy. Almost.
I got nothing.
You had the wrong coach with the right team for the.
I had the first name right.
Yeah, hey, it's Jimmy. Yeah, just say Jimmy.
Dark Horse MVP. I went Bolaños, Kyle with Cassini, who he quit on your team after he had the kid. Let's just call it what it was. That man
Again.
retired.
There was a stretch. It wasn't looking that far off.
It wasn't. But after he had that kid, he was like, whatever, Madison. Chip said some Omaha guy that would end up scoring 12 goals.
Which he was only off by 1.
Yeah, Meza had 11.
Okay. And Alan and Brandon went Gavides again.
Yeah.
MVP, God, I went EVD. Oh. Kyle went Juan Galindres, and then Ab Chip and Brandon all went Para.
You know what? For having the Twitter fingers, I think he's an MVP on the Twitter fingers.
Yeah, he is. He's up there. And then the Vibes Team of the Year. Kyle, Eb, and Chip all went Tormenta. Brandon went Tucson, and I went Fuego.
Brandon might be the most correct there.
There was some vibes going on.
The vibe of all of our games start after midnight Eastern Standard Time because of the monsoon season. We go from the worst team in the league to like be pretty damn close to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun there for a stretch.
It was.
I had a lot of fun at 2 a.m. getting ready to regret my day at work.
And then Chaos was, I chose Chattanooga, which is not wrong.
Probably correct. Most correct.
Cal went NoCo, Ed went NoCo, Jim went Omaha, and Brandon went NoCo. I feel like I won that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I won that one.
Yeah. I'll give that to you.
Hot take, Chip said NoCo will have the largest gap between final spot on the table and place in the attendance table. I said
Probably.
Tormenta will lead the league in goals scored in 15 minutes plus in the first 15 minutes, but will give up the most goals in the last 15 minutes. And Kyle said a USLT will make it to the 4th round of the US Open Cup.
Got that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Thanks,
All right.
Omaha. Thanks, Omaha, for that prediction.
There we go. All right. So we won't spend too much time. We'll take 2 minutes per team.
I think mine was
anyone
right,
got a
too.
clock? Huh?
I think mine was right too. I think because it would either be them or Madison who had the highest gap. Because Madison was first in attendance and 9th in the table, and NoCo was 7th and last.
Yeah.
No, so it'd be Madison. Madison had the biggest gap.
All right, y'all.
Never mind. Don't listen to me.
So we can speed it up a little bit. We all made our thoughts on what EC need to do, but we'll do it like this. I'll give you 30 seconds. I'll give you a team. Tell me what they need to work on for the next season. I mean, on the off season to be ready for next season. Okay. So, first off is Richmond. Brandon, I'll give you Richmond. What does Richmond need to do to be ready?
Get a new midfield. Because y'all aren't keeping any of them.
That's probably true. Damn it, Brandon. All right. Chip, I'll give you Greenville. What does Greenville need to do to be ready for next year?
I said they need to resolve the lingering stadium issue. I think they've got to stay, Brandon, to be at early college again next year, but I don't know. So it's up in the air. They
I
don't.
know that we're not staying there. I mean, I haven't heard anything, but there was a goodbye
Yeah.
on
So
the
they don't.
last game of the season.
They don't know where they're playing next year, and we saw how that worked out for NoCo all year. So hopefully, they get something permanent with a new stadium deal with the city. I know they're working through some of the various localities there and finding something, but hopefully they have somewhere to play next year. So otherwise, that would be a very unceremonious end to Greenville.
Very sad on my end, too.
Sure. Kyle, I'll give you Tormenta.
Reload because all their players are leaving. Everyone's going to pick apart that team, so reload. That's what
All right.
happens when you win.
Yeah, that is. Chattanooga.
I think they probably need to figure out a better identity for next year. That's probably what they need the most because they're not gonna. There's no way you can continue with that group or whatever's left of it because it looks like there's some pieces leaving, and take all of that negative energy into next season and think that it's gonna be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, light a match and walk away.
Right.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Am I missing somebody? What the hell happened? Okay, never mind. My fault. The thing just loaded stupidly. Union Omaha, Chip. What do they need to do? Your own team.
Yeah, I said rebuild appropriately. It's going to be kind of a weird rebuild, I think, this year. A lot of the guys who have been steadfast guys on the team, JP Skiers, Rashid Nuhu, Dalton Knutson, they're going to have a choice at the end of this year, I'm sure, whether to move on or stay with the team. They've obviously earned that and being able to move on from Omaha. Will they? Will they not? I don't know. But then there's also a lot of guys who maybe we shouldn't bring back, and you're going to have to make some hard decisions on where to cut where, especially because you'll have to backfill. I think Omaha is a team that was lacking at every single level but goalkeeper this past year, and so hopefully you get to keep some of the senior guys and some guys develop, and you bring in the right guys. But it's not like 2020 into 2021 where there's one or two easy things to fix. You're looking for fixes up and down the field. And on top of that, some of the best guys are probably leaving, so it's gonna be messy.
All right. Kyle, I'll give you Charlotte. What do they need to do?
They need center backs. They need to learn how to defend. So start with a center back, figure out how to defend, and that might help you.
Okay. There we go.
Well, question for you: don't they have to rebuild an entire team now? Because that's about to be picked apart by Charlotte.
Start with center back then. Regardless, start with center back in whatever rebuild.
True. Brandon, I'll give you Fuego. What does Fuego need to do to be ready for next year?
I think they just need to be more positive next year. I thought they were kind of, I thought they were really negative as far as their, just kind of their approach to the game, and forcing them to a lot of counterattacks and things like that. So, they spent most of their game just passing around their own half, and I think it'd be nice to just be a little more positive on the ball.
All right. FC Tucson we had on the list. I had them as they gone. We need to talk about it. They're gone. So we'll move on to the next team. Fort Madison, Kyle. What does Madison need to do? Do you want a solo cam for this, sir?
No, it's pretty simple. I would like them to have a striker that is clinical. They have not had one in the existence of the team. It'd be nice to have one for once.
Right.
I'm not saying they need to win the Golden Boot, but I need to at least feel confident that if they get the ball around the box and they shoot it, it might go in.
Okay. NCFC. Eb, what do they need to do?
I also think they need to figure out their identity. If you're going to push this path to pro, but you're not really going to set these kids up for success, then you need to stop pushing that. So do you look more towards the Tormenta model? Because that's a really good model that's working really well for like their women's team, their men's team, their academy, or do you look somewhere else? And if you're looking somewhere else, you kind of need to state that so that people know what their expectations are so that we can build this team properly.
All right. And last but not least, Chip, I'll give you NoCo.
A place to play. They're going all over Colorado with their bindle, and they just need somewhere to play at, a real place.
Find a real
That's
home.
it, right? You shouldn't be the away team every single game you play in a year.
No. You should not be. All right. Before we get into our last thing to wrap the show, put a nice bow on it. In the preseason, we made a USL All-Star 5-a-side team. You guys ready to hear these? These are funny.
Ugh.
Brandon, I'll start with you. At forward, you had Galindres, Keith Fernandez, JP Sears, Noah Frank, and Akira. Not bad. Not bad. Hold on. Okay. You had Showcat, Sukau?
Justin Suko.
Okay. Avon, Jamie Smith, and Akira. All right.
Not bad.
Yeah. Who's about Ivan? Because you just put Ivan.
I didn't hear you. What?
You just put Ivan. Who is that?
Oh,
The
wait, I
Russian
don't know.
guy.
Like Magalis, who retired?
You know how long ago that was? I don't even remember anymore.
Oh my god. All right. Kyle had Ivan Para, Lucas Coutinho, Tobias Otien, Noah Frank, Rashad Nuhu.
Oh, it might have been Para. Sorry.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Irvin instead
You
of
put
Ivan.
Para as a defender?
Oh, wait, then no, it wasn't Para.
I'm still convinced it's Magalis.
I think it's Morales.
Which, I mean, if he was still in the league, fair.
Yeah. Okay. Other than Coutinho, I felt like the rest of those picks weren't completely ridiculous.
No, they're not bad.
Coutinho's still fun.
He just didn't play that much. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
he
fun.
was fun to watch.
Chip, you had Ivan Para, JP Sears, Noah Frank, Mitch Osman, and Akira.
Yeah, no notes. I guess there's people that I would put on there instead, knowing what I know now, but that's not a horrible team.
God.
Like Arthur Rogers would be great on that team instead of Noah Frank.
Yeah.
Arthur Rogers, what we thought Noah Frank would be.
Yes, exactly.
Well, in fairness, Noah Frankie played all of what, like 100 and something minutes. He was injured
Yeah.
for 90% of the season. So
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
Just assume I meant Arthur Rogers instead of Noah Frankie, and that's a pretty damn good team.
I was so disappointed. I was at the game where he got injured like the first time, and because I was so hyped for him being on Green Bull, and then I saw him fall and like mess up his shoulder, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen.
So, you guys ready to go on to the next category?
Nope.
No,
Go through your shit.
I'm done.
Oh,
Go through your shit.
okay. All right.
It's not even that bad. It's not good.
Half my team got benched or is done for the rest of the season. Oh, all right. I had Grant McLaughlin, who, in fairness, made the USL League All-Star team. In fairness. I had EVD as my midfielder.
The glass cannon himself.
I had Dakota Bar Nathan. I had Nathan Smith. And I had a Pablo Yara as my goalkeeper. Oh, God, what was I thinking? Oh. Next year we should keep a point. We should figure out like a point system and see whose team scored the most over the year.
Or not. Let's
We're
just
doing
not do that.
fantasy.
Yeah, we could
Let's just don't do that.
So we're doing
we could just
fantasy
not
with
keep
League
practice
One.
Should. All right.
What a mess would that be like the first couple weeks of the season when like 3 teams play? It's like, well, shit, guess I gotta like cut everyone from my team and get 5 guys from NCFC so I can win this week.
But so your favorite's going to be
Rashid Nuhu.
someone's going to be out, and all of a sudden you're just going to be like, oh yeah, they're not playing this game, and we just don't know when they come back. Like there's no injury report. You're just gonna keep on hope that your like star player is gonna come back next week, and then you just don't show up the rest of the season.
Can you imagine you Omaha fans DMing like Madison players be like, "Hey, I need you to play this week. I got you in fantasy, dog." Oh man, that would be a whole another level of funny if that ever happened. All right, last thing, guys, is our off-season dream. This is the thing we want to happen. Cal and Brandon, both of you had USL Cup. What is that, and why do you want it?
I think it would be a good opportunity for other, like all the USL clubs, and this could be Championship League 1 and League 2, to have another competition that you can compete for a trophy. And also, it'd be nice if they can get paid for winning this, because you don't get paid to win USL League 1. Like, the only way teams get money is by being the furthest advancing team in their tier. So, like, Omaha got it this year because they were the furthest Division 3. Madison was in 2019. But like that's the only way they're making money unless they sell players. So I think it would be a nice and plus it'd be a nice revenue builder for having gate receipts. If you make it far, you can get a nice little cash thing. That's why I think it would be a fun competition too.
Yeah, and the price pool for US Open Cup I think was like $15,000 for the third division team. So it's like half a player before taxes.
Yeah,
I didn't think through it that well. I just thought I liked the idea of Tormenta beating up on Birmingham more than once,
Twice a year.
twice a year. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the other piece of that question as well. Do you guys think that MLS is going to try to snake their way out of the Open Cup? So then the Open Cup kind of becomes the de facto USL Cup plus
No.
NISA?
No,
because as long as it has a CONCACAF Champions League spot, no.
Yeah.
you might get the top tier teams, like the teams that make it the CONCACAF Champions League even, but the teams that don't make it, they'll probably stick around in it. Chip, you have heavy expansion in the off season. Why would this give you your sexual fantasy desires?
Is that what this was?
I don't know.
Wait, hold on. I need to rewrite mine.
Yeah, I had the wrong thing then. I think expansion's big for the league. I think we have 2 teams on the expansion docket for next year, which puts us up to 14 total teams, which is fine. But I think that the league needs to grow a lot. You have giant gaps out on the West Coast, especially now that Tucson's left. You have a giant gap in the Midwest where you only have 2 teams in the Midwest with Omaha and Madison. And outside the Southeast, there's a lot of room to kind of fill in the map a bit. And even in the Southeast, there's the Wilmingtons of the world, Asheville's of the world, a lot of places that we could potentially see teams. Charleston coming down, which still is on the table, I guess, technically. But yeah, I mean, I just think the league needs to grow, especially coming up to the World Cup. I think everyone's kind of circled on their calendar 2026 as being like the watershed year for USL. And if we only have 16 teams in League One in 2026, that's, probably not going to be near the splash that they wanted to have when the World Cup was announced.
Yeah, fair enough. The World Cup in 2026 is going to be a unique event.
Shit
Hopefully
show.
by then, Real Central New Jersey FC, SC United would have cut a couple of names by then. And for me is okay. So follow me on this. Since we have a regular season champion and a U.S. League One playoff champion, I want them to play each other. Like how in NFL, like the team with the best regular season record will play the Super Bowl winner at home to open off the season.
Mhm.
Like, isn't that game on Thursday night usually?
Yep.
So what I want is for this game to be Friday night to kick the season off in Tormenta, Richmond versus Tormenta to kick the season off, and to see, have both trophies out there. We don't have a Supporters Shield trophy, which we should probably make one, but have I feel like it would be a cool way how to kick the season off with.
What if it's the same team?
Well, then you do the second place team.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my only thing, but yeah, second place team or the runner up of the final.
Yeah, there you go.
Get a rematch.
There you go. I feel like that would be a cool thing. Eb, what's yours, homie?
It kind of is like Chips expansion, but give me an all Carolina division, and then the rest of y'all can fight it out.
We're already the USL, ACC, SEC.
Just give me that little.
You're
Carolina
gonna
has
get
like 16
Charleston.
teams.
You're gonna get Wilmington. How much fucking greedier can y'all get in the Carolinas?
Easy.
I get
What
that
did
you invented this fucking sport, but still.
Who ended up winning the Smothered and Covered Cup, anyways?
Greenville.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Jealous.
Yeah, we still need to make a trophy for that one. All right, y'all. Y'all, we are done. This show's a fucking wrap. We get our Thursday
season
night
2.
back.
Just
Well,
clarify.
Sorry.
Season 2.
Season 2 is a wrap.
Season 2 is
a
wrap, we will be back for season 3. Unlike our predecessors that didn't make it past season 2, we'll be making it to season 3, which is hilarious and wild that no one else has made it past season 3. This is crazy.
Well, the league's only been around for 4 years.
Yeah, but you would have thought like League One Fun would have like when they
Yeah.
first started, I would have thought like they'd be around for a while. But
Until Jace moves away. But yeah, I mean, again, if you have any ideas for who you want us to talk to in the offseason, make sure to drop it in our DMs.
save that shit for January.
Yeah, but we can do some stuff beforehand. But until then, December 8th, we'll be at, we, meaning me, we'll be at Union Omaha's special big announcement. So we'll have some content for that. And I'm sure there'll be some stuff posted between now and then, but probably not because nothing's going to happen for a while.
We got a whole world.
Just follow the Twitter account and we'll try and keep up with news.
Amen.
So to wrap up the show, guys, anything else before we end the show and go to sleep? Because my brain is turned to mush.
Yep. Same.
All
Thanks
right,
for
y'all.
watching, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
See you next year, fuckers. We'll holler at y'all.
Wow.
You gotta be so aggressive.